Stampers, Deb Valder here, Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, and I'm here to show you today how to do a diamond gate card. It's a little bit different because it has two folds to it. This one right here is going to pop up, and we have our hole in here, our square diamond, and then this is going to open up just like this. This is a little different for me because I usually have my fold up here at the top, but for this particular card, I have it here at the side. So this piece of cardstock right here starts out at 5.5 by 8.5, and it's scored at 4 1/4. Okay, so let me just show you how we did this. I'm going to leave this off to the side so we can just kind of follow along with it. And what I'm going to do, like I said, I started off with an 8.5 by 5.5 inch piece of cardstock, and I scored it at 4 1/4. Okay, so there's our bottom piece. Now this piece, our very next piece, is I used Blushing Bride here, and when I cut it at 5.5, so it's the same as my card, my width, the length of my card. It's 5.5, and then when I cut it this way, it is going to be, let's see, we're going to go 5.5 this way, so that's the length of my card, and then I'm going to cut it at 5. And then what I did was I scored it at 3/4 of an inch. So I just went over to my 3/4 of an inch over here, and I just used my scoring blade and I scored it. Now you can use a ruler or you can use our Stampin' Up! Trimmer, but what I did was I put a little tick mark with a pencil at 2 3/4. So I went over to 2 3/4 and I put a tick mark, and then I rotated it 90 degrees, and I went over to 2 3/4 again, right here, and I put a little tick mark with a pencil, and I rotated it 90 degrees, and I put a little tick mark at 2 3/4. Okay, so let's see, we're going to go over to here, and we're going to go over to 2 3/4. So all of my tick marks are at 2 3/4. Okay, 2 3/4, 2 3/4, 2 3/4. Now what I need to do is I need to cut this off so that I have a diamond shape. And the way I did that was to line up my tick marks. So I'm going to line up in this little gully, I'm going to line up my 2 tick marks. So I've got my tick mark from here to here, and they're just pencils so we can erase them after. You're going to use your cutting blade, which is the darker one, and you're going to cut that off. And you're going to do the same part, the same down here at the bottom. So I'm taking this tick mark and this tick mark, and I'm lining them up like that, and then I just cut that off. Alright, so now I have this piece right here. The next thing that I did was I laid this onto my magnetic platform, and I used one of my square templates. These are from my square collection, and you get 8 pieces in them. Any of the collections like this, you really do want to purchase. The hearts, the circles, the ovals, we use them all the time, and it takes out some of the hardest work because they nest for you, so you have your layers. I just love these. So I just used one of my squares from my square collection, and what I did was I just kind of centered it around the outside here, you see, from your point, and then I ran it through my Big Shot. So after it runs through your Big Shot, you're going to take and you're going to just pop this out like this, and you have your top piece. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my bottom piece, my base card, and I'm going to take this piece right here. I'm going to get out my silicone mat, which is right here, and I'm going to use my new Fast Fuse. I really like this. There's a learning curve to it. It's brand new from Stampin' Up! I do like it. I did have a problem with it at first, but once I learned how to use it, I really have fallen in love with it. And it's a little bit, it's between, I would say it's between sticky strip and our snail adhesive. So it holds a little bit better. I really like it a lot. And I didn't show you this, but as you're running it down, when you get to the end, just go off to the side. You don't want to get some little stringy things. That's what was happening to me at first, but as soon as I figured out how to do it, it worked absolutely wonderful. Okay, so now I have my Fast Fuse on here, and I have my cardstock. Now this is, you're not going to adhere it to the front part of the card. You're actually going to adhere it to the back part of the card right here. So I'm just going to take it, I'm going to line it up, and see if I can get that straight without standing up here. Okay, I adhered this to the back. Now you see how this folds, and then this folds, just like that. And you see how it just goes completely over to the side, just like that. You want to take your bone folder and bone fold it down so it doesn't keep popping up. But I have a cure for that too. Anyway, the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to take and we're going to stamp and pop. I don't need to show you how to do that. All the dimensions for these will be on my blog, but what I did was you want to make sure when you stamp that you stamp on point, and that's a sewing term. But what you want to do is to make sure that your points are top to bottom and you stamp this way. You don't want to stamp it this way because if you stamp it on a regular square, you're going to have a problem because it's going to be sideways. So you just want to do that. I ended up popping that up. I see how I popped that up, and then I just added my sentiment right there. You could actually add one here, and then when you open it up, you could add something to the inside. But that's all there is to this card. I added a little bit of a bow here. Now, the thing that I did to keep this closed was I just took a little bit of a mini glue dot, and I put it here. I used my finger, and I just dabbed it, and what that does is it keeps it closed like that. You can also take your two-way glue, which I've done before also, and this is our two-way glue, and what you can do is you can just take and put a little bit of two-way glue right here, let it dry, and when you let it dry, it becomes sticky. And when it becomes sticky, you can take and open it up and not have to wait for it to dry, though. You don't want it to be glued shut. So I'm just going to leave this open, let it dry, and then when I go to close it, that's another way to do that, okay? So that is my card for today. Very, very simple, very easy. You do need the collections, so whether you use circles, whether you use squares, whether you use the hearts, the ovals, they all work, and they work wonderful. So I hope you like my post. Hop on over to my blog to get the dimensions and directions, and come back soon. Thanks for stopping by, and have a great day.